Those have happened. Those three have happened in their last 5 games. She also undercut Skylar Diggins in those last 5 games.
My goodness. The backlash on DiJonai Carrington. DiJonai Carrington is gone nuclear at this point.
DiJonai Carrington has crossed a boundary that the WNBA must address immediately. We're not merely discussing intense defense or relentless hustle. This is a blatant series of unsportsmanlike actions that escalate with each incident. From clutching rivals by their hair to striking at eyes during gameplay, Carrington isn't just skating on thin ice. She's hurtling headfirst down an icy slope of misconduct.
Done things this season that will get her disqualified from MMA fights. She has done things this season that will get her disqualified from MMA fights. This is a bad look for the league. It is a bad look for the league that every game, the referees are turning a blind eye to something that would potentially get them disqualified from an MMA fight. This would have got her disqualified if she was in the...
The latest incident has fans demanding actions far beyond a simple fine. People are calling for suspensions and even a lifetime ban. The craziest part? It's actually spelled out clearly in the rules. Now, it all comes down to whether the commissioner will step up and enforce it. We'll dive into that in more detail shortly.
Check this out right here. As she grabs the player by the ponytail, yanks her to the ground.
Let's take a step back for a moment. Recall the time she almost took out her own teammate Paige Beckers with a reckless hit that left coaches holding their breath? Or that cheap shot on Jessica Shepard, teetering on the edge of flagrant? And then there's Caitlin Clark, a rising star and already the symbol of the Indiana Fever, who was slapped in the face with a swipe to the eye by none other than Carrington herself. The footage is out there, and it's intense. The hostility behind these actions is unmistakable. It's beginning to look less like basketball and more like a WWE show in the making.
Claw to the eye, hit to the head, yank pull. And by the way, that's her 3 of her last 5 games. Those have happened. Those 3 have happened in her last 5 games. She also undercut Skylar Diggins in those last 5 games. Getting Caitlin Clark in the eye, getting Sabrina.
The warning signs are flashing bright. DiJonai Carrington has accumulated 3 official flagrant fouls in just 1 month, an alarming uptick. That's not even counting the 2 extra fouls that fans and analysts alike agree were just as egregious, but went uncalled. The numbers tell the story. This isn't a coincidence, it's a clear pattern. So, the big question now is, what will the WNBA do in response? Or more critically, will they take any action at all?
I mean, not only is the WNBA covering for players like this, they're doing these egregious things on the court that is not physical play. It's dirty play with a big fat D. Some of these players wouldn't know nothing about that. Anyway, with a big fat D, it's dirty. All right? And my God, and then when you call them out, the said player starts attacking fans.
The league has a rule. Too many flagrant fouls automatically lead to suspension. Simple as that. But we're no longer just past the threshold. We're in the what else do you need zone. Player safety should be sacrosanct, a top priority. If the WNBA aims to boost its audience and protect rising stars like Caitlin Clark, they must demonstrate that reckless actions come with real consequences. Yet so far, Carrington has been allowed to get away with barely a glance and a deafening silence.
A world
if she would have had extension
where that is not premeditated, pre-planned. She looked up, she said, "Oh, look at that!
Whoa!
Look at that ponytail! Yeah, let me yank." How about I keep it real? Let me yank the white girl to the ground. There we go. There it's.
Let's kick things off with the foul that finally exposed the full extent of this controversy, the infamous hair pull. It happened in the third quarter of a fierce battle between the Dallas Wings and the Los Angeles Sparks. Carrington seized Sarah Ashley Barker by the hair and yanked her down with the force of a tug-of-war game from childhood. The entire arena gasped in shock. Replays revealed the truth. There was no hiding it. The foul was so overt that even in slow motion it looked downright aggressive.
DiJonai, DiJonai, you're always in a dirty play. DiJonai, DiJonai, once again, here we are today. Oh, DiJonai, DiJonai.
And what was the verdict from the refs? A mere loose ball foul. Not a flagrant, not even a technical. Just a tiny slap on the wrist, as if nothing serious happened. Commentators were left stunned. One analyst quipped, "If those were extensions, they'd be on the hardwood right now." Social media erupted in chaos. The Brick Center shared the clip with a caption that perfectly captured the outrage. How is this not an ejection?
I think a referee knowingly allowing and turning a blind eye to players putting other players in danger should never be allowed ref again. And I think this is just like the Kennedy Carter tip check last year. The referees, and this is the worst part of this, they saw it and did nothing.
The fans' reactions exploded across Twitter, Reddit, Instagram. Every corner of the internet was ablaze with outrage. The consensus was clear. This behavior is dangerous and simply cannot be tolerated any longer. One radio caller summed it up perfectly, saying, "This isn't hustle. This is someone treating the court like a back alley." The uproar was deafening, a call for serious change in how such incidents are handled.
Look, I don't condone fighting on the court, but this team has a real issue. This league has a real issue getting their own teammates' backs. It feels like so many of these players are all out for themselves, and it is wild.
It wasn't just the hair pull that drew attention. Fans started digging up the receipts. They highlighted the undercuts, the elbows, the late hits. Carrington had become a living highlight reel of questionable, often dirty plays. And these weren't the impressive kind. They were the troubling, unsportsmanlike kind. Fans couldn't help but wonder aloud, why hasn't the league stepped in yet? The questions and concerns kept mounting, signaling a growing call for action.
Criticism justified. Get her off the court. Hey, this person, Kathy Engelbert, you're the problem. Since you seem to think this kind of play is acceptable, not to this play, but many others, you should be held accountable when someone is seriously injured. And it's going to happen. Carrington is reckless, and there's plenty of video that shows, there's plenty of evidence.
This brings us to the core problem, the WNBA's silence. In just 1 month, Carrington has amassed more flagrant fouls than anyone else. Further proof of a troubling trend. That's not just a statistic, it's a headline waiting to be written. Yet, the league has said nothing. No official statement, no fines, no suspensions. It's almost as if they're hoping ignoring the situation will make it disappear. But the silence only fuels the growing frustration and concern.
DiJonai Carrington, you are the dirtiest dirtbag of them all. Dirty play, DiJonai Carrington. DiJonai, dirty play, Carrington. We can even turn it into a song.
Not if Caitlin Clark becomes the target. Clark represents the future of the sport. Yet, she's being swiped, elbowed, and shoved around like she accidentally wandered into the wrong gym. If anything happens to her because the league refuses to take action, it won't just be a scandal. It will ignite a full-blown crisis. The narrative is shifting. Fans aren't just angry at Carrington anymore, they're questioning the league's integrity itself. How can they promote a no room for hate campaign when such reckless conduct is left unchecked? Is this the example they want to set for the next generation of young women watching and dreaming?
Has been on a crime spree. That's right, folks. She has been on a crime spree, robbing the WNBA blind, masquerading as a professional basketball player when in reality, she is just a reckless athlete that understands the concept of basketball.
DiJonai Carrington has become one of the most polarizing figures in the WNBA. Some fans praise her fiery passion on the court, while others argue she plays with a relentless vendetta. But regardless of where you stand, one thing is unmistakably clear. This is no longer about playing style. It's about player safety. If the league fails to act swiftly and decisively, the only ones facing bans will be the loyal fans who choose to tune out and stop watching.
Onto something, realized it was the hair, and yanked. She went back down faster as soon as she grabbed the hair. Like, come on. Like, at what stage does the WNBA have to step in? Because the WNBA are rescinding technical fouls on a player who should already be suspended. DiJonai Carrington has committed 4 blatant flagrant fouls this year, and one that was 50-50 that got...
Let's rewind to one of the most disturbing moments from last season, one that continues to anger fans and puzzle analysts alike. Caitlin Clark, the WNBA's rising star, was bringing the ball up the court when suddenly, out of nowhere, DiJonai Carrington reached in and swiped right across her face. Every camera captured the incident in detail. Her fingers grazed Clark's eye, leaving no doubt about the contact. Clark immediately winced and clutching her face, visibly shaken. That moment didn't just pause the game, it froze everyone watching in stunned silence.
As everyone else is seeing this angle, I'm calling her in and I'm saying to her, I need answers.
This wasn't your usual hard foul or a hustle play that went awry. It was a clear, direct strike to the eye of the league's most talked-about player. Sports broadcasters and online clips slowed down the replay frame by frame, emphasizing Carrington's extended hand, the exact moment of contact, and Clark's stunned reaction. The incident ignited instant outrage. The real debate wasn't whether it happened, it was whether it was deliberate, and if so, what kind of penalty should be imposed.
Clark was so lucky with how hard she got hit in the eye. She was so lucky. And by the way, I still believe DiJonai Carrington tried to hit Caitlin Clark.
Carrington attempted to dismiss it as a mere unfortunate display of defensive intensity, but fans weren't convinced. The slow-motion replays revealed the precise hand positioning and timing, telling a completely different story, one that suggested intent and a lack of accidental contact.
You went and kind of swatted at Caitlin. Did you intend to hit her in the eye? And if so, could you just, or if not, either way, could you talk about what happened on that play?
I don't even know why I would intend to hit anybody in the eye. That doesn't even make sense to me. But no, I didn't. I didn't know I hit her, actually. I was trying to make a play on the ball, and I guess I followed through and I hit her. So obviously it's never intentional. That's not even like the type of player that I am.
Social media exploded with outrage. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere you looked, fans were calling it what it truly was, a dangerous and reckless move. It wasn't just the impact that raised eyebrows, it was the clear implication of intent. Watching the footage, many viewers saw deliberate aim and calculated timing, making it impossible to ignore the question, was this an accident or something more malicious? The consensus was loud and clear. This was a play that crossed the line.
Now got normal NBA fans. You have got normal NBA fans, like, talking about DiJonai Carrington.
Caitlin Clark chose silence once again, letting her performance speak for itself, no words needed. But her body language told a different story. The usually calm and unshakable star looked noticeably rattled, something that hadn't happened before, even with constant targeting. This shook her up, and that's when the rallies for action grew louder. The timing couldn't have been worse or more revealing. Clark's presence has brought in millions of new fans, skyrocketing ratings and revenue. Yet, despite being the face of this new wave, she's been subjected to physical attacks with barely any consequence. That eye poke was just the latest in a series of dangerous incidents, and fans are fed up with watching it all go unpunished.
It is a very relevant topic because now you have got posts going viral in the general basketball world, and this type of stuff is just a bad look for the league. It is a bad look for the league. It is. This type of stuff is a bad look for the league.
Soon, video compilations of Carrington's questionable history began to circulate widely. Not just the eye poke, but the ponytail pulls, undercuts, and headshots, all spotlighted again and again. The footage brought everything into sharp focus. This wasn't a one-off mistake or a moment of frustration. It was a pattern of reckless, dangerous behavior. The story shifted from a single foul to questioning whether the WNBA was enabling a repeat offender. Analysts and fans alike started asking tough questions. If Caitlin Clark, arguably the league's biggest star, could be targeted with such violence and the league remained silent, what did that say about their commitment to player safety? Where were the official statements? The fines? The suspensions? The silence from league officials only fueled the growing outrage, turning frustration into a demand for real accountability.
Engelbert, you're the problem. Since you seem to think this kind of play is acceptable, not to this play, but many others, you should be held accountable when someone is seriously injured. And it's going to happen.
The conversation rapidly pivoted, and it wasn't only Carrington who faced scrutiny, it was the league's leadership. Cathy Engelbert's name kept emerging in discussions, especially her persistent silence on Carrington's misconduct. Despite Carrington accumulating 3 confirmed flagrant fouls within a few weeks, and some say 2 more incidents that should have been flagged, there was still no public statement, no fines, no suspensions. Just business as usual. Fans took notice and began calling out Engelbert directly, accusing her of favoritism, protecting some players while neglecting the rules meant to safeguard the entire league. Her perception of inaction only deepened the frustration and distrust.
Literally, the referee saw her take someone out in the air, went to the monitors, was like, this is a dangerous play, it's a flagrant, and they overruled the refs on the monitors. The league has the league are putting players in danger. The league does not care about player safety. They don't care about player safety. And by the way, why would DiJonai care about player safety? Why would she care if the league doesn't care? The legal defender, anything negative said about DiJonai Carrington in the media, anything negative, you're going to see a post from the WNBA saying, we call BS about this thing. anything negative in the media about DiJonai Carrington, the WNBA are going to make a post. The WNBA are going to make a...
One of the strongest condemnations came from veteran analyst Mark Jackson, who didn't hold back. He bluntly stated, "If the WNBA won't enforce its own rules, what message are they sending?" His words resonated across sports talk shows, Reddit forums, and YouTube live streams. An increasing number of voices joined in, echoing the same sentiment. Unless Carrington is suspended, the league risks losing its credibility entirely. The pressure for decisive action is mounting, and the stakes couldn't be higher.
We do not, you can see with DiJonai Carrington, she does not have the greatest body control. She does not have good enough body control to hit someone in the eye. But I do think that she tried to smack Caitlin Clark in the head. The referee, no call. No call. Common foul. No call on the undercut of Gabby Williams. No call on the hit to Sabrina.
This wasn't just chatter on social media. Former players and sports journalists also voiced their serious concerns. The collective outcry intensified, and the WNBA found itself at the center of its most severe image crisis in years. If a role player like Carrington can bend or break the rules repeatedly without facing real repercussions, it sends a damning message. Regardless of star status, rules are optional. The league's integrity and reputation are on the line, and the call for accountability has never been louder.
If the referees just did their jobs, DiJonai Carrington would have a one-game suspension, right? If the referee in the league did their jobs, DiJonai Carrington, and not for just this. And by the way, there are sports leagues in the world that, with this replay going out, will give her a one-game suspension. The NBA is one. If the referees missed it in real time, and something like this started going, not even semi-viral, but went around the league, and they're like, you know what, it's actually putting a player in danger. It's a one-game.
At the core of all this was a question that refused to fade. Would the league finally take action, or would they continue to protect a player many now view as a liability? Some reporters even hinted that the only way to restore trust might be a season-long suspension, if not an outright ban. That's how serious the debate had become. And the fact that it took the league so long to even consider such steps only fueled the backlash further. To truly grasp the depth of the issue, you have to look beyond Carrington's on-court stats. She's not just playing aggressively, she's repeatedly crossing boundaries that endanger others. Hair pulling, eye pokes, cheap shots. It's not just poor sportsmanship, it's a hazard to player safety. Now, players themselves are speaking out. Clips highlighting her reckless fouls are being compiled and shared with captions reading, "Enough is enough," and "When will the league wake up?" The outrage is loud and clear. Action is long overdue.
And if it's a disqualification in the MMA, it should be a disqualification in the WNBA. Just my opinion. If it's a disqualification in MMA, it should be a disqualification in the WNBA.
This situation goes far beyond one player losing control. It becomes a defining test of whether the WNBA can uphold the core values it champions: fair play, player safety, and professionalism. Right now, fans feel anything but reassured. They feel betrayed. Every time a flagrant foul is ignored or dismissed, it diminishes the integrity of the game. Every time the league defends conduct that's clearly unacceptable, it pushes away new fans who joined in excitement to watch history, not a highlight reel of reckless, dangerous plays. And with Caitlin Clark at the center of this media storm, the stakes couldn't be higher. She's more than just a player. She's a movement, a once-in-a-generation talent who has brought women's basketball into living rooms nationwide. The notion that she can be targeted repeatedly without consequences isn't just bad optics, it's bad business. The league's credibility, its growth, and its future depend on how they respond now.
You went and kind of swatted at Caitlin. Did you intend to hit her in the eye? And if so, could you just, or if not, either way, could you talk about what happened on that play?
I don't even know why I would intend to hit anybody in the eye. That doesn't even make sense to me. But no, I didn't. I didn't know I hit her, actually. I was trying to make a play on the ball, and I guess I followed through and I hit her. So obviously it's never intentional. That's not even the type of player that I am.
DiJonai Carrington's actions, a ponytail yank that sent a player tumbling and an eye rake that circulated online, are turning her into the face of everything the WNBA claims it doesn't stand for. The more the league stalls on taking decisive action, the more it validates critics' fears. They speak about accountability, but rarely follow through with enforcement. Now, all eyes are on Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. Will she finally step up and impose a suspension that truly sends a message? Or will she once again prioritize image? Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss an update. Click the video on the screen to continue, and we'll see you next time.